everyone is to lower the cost of.
This is a severe weather update from your 7 Storm Team, brought to you by Hilbing Auto Body.
And right now, the National Weather Service office out of St. Louis has issued now a tornado warning. This is a tornado warning in effect till 9:15 this evening for northwestern Pike in Illinois, south central Adams in western Illinois, northeastern Rawls in Missouri, and southeastern Marion County. This again a tornado warning until 9:15. Severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado was located over Rensselaer that is moving eastbound at 55 miles an hour. This is the main threat of a tornado and quarter-size hail. This is a radar-indicated storm. Flying debris is dangerous to those caught in the out of doors without shelter. Mobile homes, you need to get out of those. They will be damaged or destroyed. There will be damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles. Tree damage is also likely. So heads up, Hannibal. That'll be in your neck of the woods by about 8:50. Fall Creek about 8:55. Payson in southern Adams County at about 9 o'clock. Also, Elasco, Seahorn, Saverton, Kinderhook, Plainville, Hull. Interstate 172 near exit 2. Also 72 between exits 4 and 10. You need to kind of keep your eye on the storm and get out of harm's way. This is all radar indicated. We do have some ground truth. Our very own meteorologist Nick Stewart is right there keeping an eye on the base of the storm. Nick, where are you located and what are you seeing at this time?
We are only about a mile east of Monroe City. We have a funnel confirmed. It is reaching the ground. It's about halfway to the ground. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it in the video because lightning is really our only source of light. Rotation is definitely picking up, definitely visible with the eye. This is a funnel cloud that is dropping with this storm. This is not just radar indication. We can see it. There's a funnel with this storm. It is about 2 miles or so east of Monroe City. It is basically crossing or very close to US 36 at this time, almost on top of Rensselaer there in northern that county there, also west of northern Rawls County, excuse me. This is approaching Hannibal. Again, there's a funnel with the storm. There's a rapidly rotating wall cloud. We can look at it. We are looking at it right now. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it in the video because, again, lightning is our only source of light. We were traveling in Monroe City. We got hit very hard by that rear flank downdraft, that RFD with the storm, and that's usually kind of the what you need to kind of get these storms to go tornadic, and that's kind of exactly what happened. We had that RFD wrap around the circulation, and now we have a funnel cloud dropping with the storm. It looks like it may have lifted at this time, but it's still definitely very agitated. There's definitely pretty rapid rotation with the storm. Again, this is northern Rawls County near Rensselaer heading towards Hannibal. It is moving almost due east, if not a little bit northeast. Does include southern Marion County, south of Palmyra. Hannibal is almost right in the path of this thing. Once it crosses the river, it's going to be crossing into southern Adams County and northern Pike County. So Fall Creek, Payson, Kinderhook, Hull, you're all in the watch for this. There's definitely a wall cloud with the storm, and we have seen multiple funnels.
All right, meteorologist Nick Stewart is right there at location. If you can take a look at where we're kind of pointing here, where Nick is located, right along Highway 36, right along Rensselaer is where Nick is located, just east of Monroe City. There's the town of West Ely, and then Ely, Rensselaer. There's a turnoff right there off Highway 36, and if you are familiar with that area, that's about where that is, and of course where the Highway 24 intersection is to the west of White Bear. Some of the locals know exactly where that is. That's exactly that location there. This is moving to the northeast, and again, fairly rapidly, 55 miles an hour, even though the printout here says moving east. The warning itself is triangulated as to the northeast. So that, again, keep in mind that these are moving fairly fast. You need to seek shelter below ground. If you do not have a basement, you need to seek shelter that's somewhere within enclosed four walls, like, for example, like a closet. If you have a bathroom where you can get some sort of protection that can get you covered, that's the most ideal spot. But again, below ground is the best place. And again, meteorologist Nick Stewart has confirmed that this has a funnel cloud associated with it. It has been kind of dropping that funnel cloud. Not a tornado, but it does have strong rotation, and that funnel cloud has been verified, but it has not reached the ground yet. Once those funnel clouds do reach the ground, then it's verified as a tornado. But right now, this is radar indicated. It's been verified by Storm Spotter, and we're seeing if we can get any kind of verification. There we go. Nick Stewart has reported to the Weather Service the funnel has lifted, but still what he calls is a rotating wall cloud with fingers crossing US 36 near Rensselaer. That verifies it's not just moving to the east, but right now it is moving to the northeast. And again, 55 miles an hour. There's also quite a bit of lightning associated with this.
We have another funnel.
Oh, you have another funnel?
We have a funnel that's starting to drop again with this storm, dead center of that wall cloud as it approaches the city of Hannibal. There's a lot of traffic on US 36. If you guys know anybody that may be driving on US 36 or Interstate 72 between about Hull and Rensselaer, please get them to get off the highway. This thing may be dropping. It's about almost halfway to the ground now. We may have a tornado here imminent.
All right, Nick, also I can verify that we are getting some tremendous rainfall at our studios. I have not heard this amount of rainfall in quite some time. We're also getting some flashes of lightning just outside our studio. Not heard any kind of hail yet, but boy, that is some ferocious rainfall, and along with that, some wind. I can also take a look at our sky cam, and it is a shaking and a twisting on that tall pole just outside of our studios, even though we do not have a severe thunderstorm warning for at least our neck of the woods. But again, southern Adams County, you do have that tornado warning that is up until 9:15 tonight. Now, I will say this, the previous tornado warning that was issued by the Storm Prediction Center that was in effect until 10 o'clock may be extended because these storms are running into a little bit more unstable atmosphere along and east of the Mississippi River into parts of western Illinois. If that is done, that may take that warning or that tornado watch, by the way, up until about 2 a.m., but that has not happened as of yet. And this is now, we're getting some warnings here, but that's more for western Missouri. And that tells me, Nick, that still we are not out of the woods. If that is some more information coming in for western Missouri, although my radar is very much focused on that severe thunderstorm just west of Hannibal.
That's right. Like I said, we're still watching it. Rotation looks like it is definitely starting to increase once again. There is, well, that funnel may be really low to the ground now. Lightning is just like I said, our only friend right now, so it's very difficult to visually see things. There's definitely a rotating wall cloud. Okay, another really defined funnel again. It is north of US 36. It's basically between Rensselaer and Hannibal now, probably a little bit east, just northwest now of Hannibal. It's very, very close to the city of Hannibal, it looks like, just north of US 36. We're trying to get a better look at it. We're starting to get kind of some precip between us. If you can keep driving, we'll kind of keep going. The funnel cloud definitely, though, is still there, just almost on top of Hannibal now.
All right, we're looking at the velocity. This is the inbound-outbound wind that the National Weather Service radar takes a look at. This is the St. Louis radar, and really it's hard to see if we've got anything that's what they call gate-to-gate shear with this. Now, there is a little bit of that whitening. That's what we kind of look for, right where Interstate 72 transforms to US 36. Just to the west side, I think that's Veterans Road. To the west of Hannibal, that's where we're starting to see that kind of gating that we take a look at, Nick. Is that where your location is? Yeah, we're about 6 miles or so now west of Hannibal. We're trying to get closer to the city of Hannibal, but we can definitely see the funnel cloud there. It is still definitely there, closing in on the city of Hannibal. Okay, that's exactly what we're looking at here on the radar, but it's kind of hard to take a look at as far as the radar data coming back, and I think it may be a little bit on the distorted side. But again, if you are in the city of Hannibal, you've been listening to Nick's reports here, you need to find some place of safety, and again, preferred underground if you've got a basement. If not, you need to find some place of safety within your own home, preferably a closet. If not a closet, then maybe perhaps a bathroom with some sort of protection over your head, because even though this may not be a tornado per se, even with a funnel cloud, this may cause some debris to be tossed around. This may be affecting western portions of Hannibal as we speak, according to the latest in the radar detection that we have right now. As this continues to move, I want to say east-northeast, and it's moving fairly quickly at about 50, 55 miles an hour. Really, really heavy downpour. And Nick, you had some pretty good hail. That was before the rain started. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about during that live hit, is that we kind of had that RFD that wraps around it, that very strong wind, the descending motion on the backside of these supercell thunderstorms. Really, a lot of times that we believe it's kind of that last kick these storms need to go tornadic, and that's why we started facing east, and we just let this thing cross right in front of us. Funnel kind of blocked by some trees, but looks like the funnel is still definitely there. So definitely damaging wind is a concern with the storm, as well as the hail on top of the tornado threat. This is a very dangerous storm. You need to be taking your shelters now. Again, there's still a lot of traffic on 36. If you are on US 36 or Interstate 72, please, please, please get off the roads. That's now basically between Hannibal and Barry. If you know anyone that may be on the road, please get them off, because this is a very dangerous storm. It's closing in, if not on top of the city of Hannibal right now, still moving east-northeast at about 50 or so miles per hour. We are going to continue to track it as we go into Illinois.
All right, Nick, thank you very much, and we'll get back to you here after a while. I do want to highlight a couple of things that are showing up here on radar. Very, very intense rainfall from Highway 168. This is north of the Highway 72 interchange, Shelton, and this extends right across the river to about Fall Creek at the Fall Creek interchange. Very, very, very heavy rainfall. This is not the hail. The hail is out ahead of this. So this would be right around Seahorn, Interstate 172 and the 72 interchange, and then back beyond that. Now that we've got the latest radar update, and then out ahead of that is where we're starting to see the hail. Pace and Liberty, up across the southern parts of Adams County, you're probably also seeing some pretty good signs that this is coming your way. And again, that tornado warning is in effect for southern Adams County until 9:15. So Nick Stewart has verified it. It's been verified by National Weather Service radar. You need to get yourself into a place of safety if you're in the path of that. And Payson, you are no exception. And again, this has also been putting down some copious amounts of large hail that Nick Stewart had witnessed. I would also say, too, as this makes its way in across the northernmost of Pike County, that this may also be strengthening as it moves into a little bit more unstable atmosphere. It's got a lot of energy with it. As it moves into a little bit more instability, it may also tend to grow in size. The hail may also increase in size and also increase in intensity, and the rain may also increase in intensity and spread out over a little bit larger area. And as it does so, it may also tend to create a little bit more tornadic activity. Nick, what are you seeing?
Yeah, we on radar, I got to tell you, that that radar indicated rotation is very strong now on the east and northeast of Hannibal, approaching Fall Creek. We are kind of getting cut off. The storm is definitely starting to outrun us, and we're starting to see some precip kind of separate us and the wall cloud. However, we are definitely still seeing.
Okay, we've temporarily lost Nick there on the community.
Higher up.
Okay. Oh, we got you back, Nick.
Okay. I was saying we're trying to get through the city of Hannibal. The storm is kind of outrunning us right now. We're getting a little bit of precip between us and that area of interest. Pretty strong rotation, though, just northeast of Hannibal. As far as I know, Hannibal dodged a bullet because this was a very strong rotation with this storm. Now moving into Illinois, approaching the Interstate 72 and 172 interchange near Fall Creek.
Okay, yeah, we see it there on radar. And again, that's where we're also seeing some of the heaviest of the rainfall returns also showing up as well. Very deep, dark coloring there, intermixed with a very dark red and the orange. And then when we put it on the velocity from the St. Louis Weather Forecast Office, then we take a look at, we're seeing some really good gating on that as well. It's kind of cluttered, but there's some good gate-to-gate shear showing up as well. So, yes, folks around Fall Creek, I would say Payson, especially just to the north of Payson, you need to really kind of keep an eye on that storm. Better yet, you need to get to a place of safety. If you're just right around Marblehead, the same situation there. You need to find yourself some safe places to go, your safe spot. Gilmer, Fowler, you may be in the path of this. Columbus, Clayton, eventually. That may be a ways away, but...
The National Weather Service in St. Louis has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Pike County in west central Illinois, southern Adams County in west central Illinois, northern Rawls County in northeastern Missouri, eastern Marion County in northeastern Missouri until 9:15 p.m. At 8:28 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Monroe City, moving east at 60 miles per hour. Expected hazards include 60 miles per hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. This is a radar-indicated threat.
More seems to be some precipitation wrapping around the back side of it, so that tornado...
Okay, as Nick says... Okay, we've been kind of hearing you kind of cut in and out. I do want to remind the folks, you are a trained storm spotter. You are a trained meteorologist. You are not driving the storm spotter. You have a chauffeur driving you around, and that you are not behind the wheel doing this at the same time.
That's correct. I've been doing this now since 2010. So, I mean, we knew exactly where to be with this storm. So, I mean, we tell people to go inside, but, you know, we kind of laugh, you know, that we're out here. But it's because we know what we're doing. I've been doing this for many, many years. I've seen many, many tornadoes. I'm kind of in the right place. Take 70.
You're not driving.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, yeah. So, I mean, we have, obviously the degree in meteorology and all that, too. And, again, as you mentioned, I'm not the one driving. Our very own Rachel Pearson is the one driving the Storm Runner right now, her first experience with this. So we're having a good time.
Yeah, all right, very good. Okay, the National Weather Service issued a special statement on that, again, confirmed funnel cloud with this particular storm as it continues to move off to the east and northeast now, tracking at 60 miles an hour. Quarter-sized hail and a possibility of a tornado still with this very strong storm. Flying debris is also going to be dangerous to those caught in the out of doors, and especially with those without shelter. You need to get out of your mobile home. I cannot emphasize that enough. This will be near or upon Payson here. As we're looking at this, Payson, you're getting doused with rainfall, if not a lot of wind at this very moment. Alaska, Plainville, Hull, you're also going to be getting that, if not already getting it as we speak. So you need to take cover right now. Liberty, you're going to be on the far eastern fringe, if not just being kind of clipped by the stronger of the core of the storm. But Camp Point, your turn is going to be coming up as this makes its way off to the north and to the northeast. Still not to ignore that you've got some rainfall coming your way in another wave here, Palmyra. There's also some more rainfall for Monroe City. We've got some heavier rainfall that's coming out of northern Monroe County. Honeywell, you're on the far western edge of some of that rain, and that is also moving into Marion County. That all is moving off to the northeast. So Marblehead looks like all the heaviest is off to your south. Quincy, the worst is off to the east, east of Hickory Grove, Ellington. Fowler, looks like you may have escaped some of the heaviest there. But again, Camp Point, Golden, Columbus, you're right there in the midst of all this. But this moving very, very quickly off to the east at, again, 60 miles an hour, confirmed funnel cloud, large hail, Damaging wind cannot be ruled out, but you need to get out of your mobile home. You need to get into a basement. You need to find that safe place, that one place that you've talked about with the family, or perhaps you've not talked about with the family. This is the time that you need to figure out where you need to be safe, if indeed that you are faced with this situation with the tornado warning that is in effect until 9:15. And once again, the National Weather Service office out of St. Louis has issued now a tornado warning. This is for northeastern Pike, southern Brown County. This is until 9:45 tonight. So just a few moments ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Buckhorn, moving eastbound 55 to 60 miles an hour. So the main hazards now, of course, tornado and rather large hail. This was indicated by radar. So this is the particular thunderstorm that we're looking at. Here is the warned area as this moves to the east of 55 to 60. So right now we're looking at this path, this very highlighted, almost purple, very dark red area as this moves off to the east. So some of the locations that will be impacted include Versailles, Perry, Coopertown, Chambersburg, as well as LaGrange, Illinois. So you need to find a place of safety. Once again, as we talked about earlier, if you live in a mobile home, you need to vacate that mobile home, get to a place of safety, preferably underground. Once again, if you don't have a place to get underground, perhaps maybe a closet or a bathroom where you can get something over your head to protect yourself, mainly from flying debris. So again, this is the area of concern. There's Buckhorn. This is about where the area of concern is, where this area of violet, this strip of violet, as this makes its way off to the east, this will also produce some very intense hail. And this also includes northern Pike, southern Brown counties, and again, that tornado warning until 9:45 tonight. This is that same storm that did cause a little bit of concern across Marion County and also southern Adams, northern Pike County. We'll see if we can get a little closer look at what's going on here. This would be areas west of Highway 107, also Highway 99, south of Highway 24. But there's Buckhorn, the center part of your screen there, Bentonville, north of Morrillville, and northwest of Elkhorn, and there's Highway 107. So this area, as we kind of take a look at County Road Highway 6, road number 750N. So some of these areas that are showing up in violet, the more intense rainfall, that's the area that we're kind of keeping an eye on, and that's the biggest area of concern. I'm not sure if Nick Stewart is on board or not, but I'm not really getting a whole lot of inbound, outbound coupling on that one, except right around Elkhorn. Nick, are you there?
I am here, if you can hear me. We are kind of trucking along that storm. It does appear to be more outflow dominant from the side that we're on. We're on that south side where the wind is a primary threat. We're getting some pretty strong winds, and we're still out ahead of it. It's going to be one of these type of, we call them QLCS tornadoes. It's these tornadoes that are really kind of mixed in this line. It's these really kind of short-lived, small tornadoes that kind of spin up real quick and then kind of disappear. I think that's pretty much what the main threat with this storm is it kind of heads into Versailles. That's kind of the main threat right now as it is in southern Brown County. We are trying to get ahead of it once again. Definitely lots of lightning. We're definitely looking at lots of rain, likely some strong hail in there, and definitely the strong winds as well. We definitely felt those strong winds all the way down to 72 as well, and we're still quite a distance away from the storm, so we're trying to get a better position on it at the moment.
All right, and we're getting some word from the National Weather Service that we're going to be seeing more of these, what you called line structure with Boeing segments, and some of these spin-up type tornadoes that spin up and then kind of go away after a very short-lived amount of time as the evening progresses. Now, this is on top of an extension of what is now a tornado watch. That means conditions are favorable in this environment for severe thunderstorms and tornadoes until 4 a.m. And
I
that
wish it would stay
generally includes a lot of counties that are east of the Mississippi River and a few counties that are also west of the Mississippi River, those along and south of Highway 36 and I-72 in both Missouri and Illinois. Although I would imagine that some of that, as has been the case, may be trimmed because we've got some cooler, more stable air that's already beginning to kind of build back in behind this as the air is somewhat stabilized across parts of Iowa. Already we've seen some counties shaved off that watch. But again, not to distract you away from the ongoing situation here, now we've got an extension that's tornado watch or tornado warning, by the way. Excuse me, Raja, I'm going to go ahead and grab this here and get out a text version here so Tegan can have that version there for social media. This came out from the National Weather Service office out of Lincoln. Now we've got a tornado warning that has been extended for the following counties. They are South Central Schuyler and Central Cass. This is until 10:15 tonight. This is that one thunderstorm. This is how fast this is moving. It was located 7 miles southeast of Mount Sterling or 13 miles southwest of Beardstown, moving east now at 60 miles an hour. So the main hazards with this, tornado and quarter-size hail. This is all radar indicated. The most dangerous portion of the storm will be flying debris to those that are caught without shelter. Of course, mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. There will be damage to windows, roofs, vehicles. So you need to avoid yourself of some of these dangers. This tornado warning until 10:15. Beardstown, Bluff Springs, Virginia, you're in the path of this tornadic storm. Frederick, Ripley, just to name a few. So that is the extension of that storm that is coming now out of Brown County. And the main core of that, again, let me go ahead and zoom in. This is just west of Cooperstown. Gilbert's is just to the south. Herbsman, a little more specifically, towards Cooperstown. That is the main area there. That's the heaviest of the rain. That is where we've been looking at some of this potential rotation in association with this. And again, this is expected to be kind of a short-lived situation as we move into a little bit different environment with this storm as opposed to if we were in like late afternoon or perhaps maybe early evening. And meteorologist Nick Stewart is trying to get himself strategically in location with our storm runner to try to get you a little bit better look into the heart of this particular storm. I'm not sure how far away you are from that storm there, Nick.
Yeah, we're not even really in any of the warning polygons right now. We're still quite a ways south. We're still on Interstate 72 near Griggsville, trying to head eastbound out ahead of it. I don't think we're going to make it before it really leaves our coverage area. But in terms of the structure on it, it's definitely kind of that classic Boeing segment shelf cloud, strong wind event type structure with this storm. Definitely the strong wind is really I think the biggest concern at the moment, but those quick little spin-up tornadoes are definitely possible, as well as maybe some large hail with this as well. So definitely the strong wind and the tornado threat is going to persist overnight tonight. That's kind of what we've been fearing. We had that initial round, those one or two of those robust storms in the afternoon, and now we're getting this kind of line of embedded tornadoes going through the night hours. Thankfully, this is kind of more so almost all the way through our area already. So most of us have dodged that bullet, but that southern half or so of the viewing area is still under the gun tonight with this type of threat. Those little embedded circulations inside these kind of Boeing segments is what we call them. Basically, the straight-line wind threat, the strong wind gusts, 60, maybe 70 miles per hour is the main concern right now.
Right, and in addition to that, Nick, I was just checking out some of the height on this, topping out at about 45,000 feet. So these are some pretty hefty storms that we're talking about here.
Yeah, I mean, from visually, too, I mean, if this was daylight, I mean, this would be one of the most photogenic storms I've seen in a while. You can really only see it in the lightning strikes. It's got, got that big old shelf cloud on it, which is a strong indication of strong wind on the leading edge of the storm as it pushes, again, into the Brown County, now moving toward Cass County and southern Schuyler County. So Beardstown, it's moving in your direction. Virginia and central Cass County, you're under the gun as well. The heart of that storm is kind of moving through Versailles right now. I think it's just kind of a reminder, again, we're in the Storm Runner. I'm not the one driving. I'm the one just kind of visually doing this. I'm very well trained. I'm a trained storm spotter. I'm a meteorologist. I've been doing this for many years. That's why we're out here trying to get that ground truth, especially at night when it's very difficult to see these things. We rely on those storm spotter reports, and we're just kind of following this, kind of funneling those reports as we go along.
Very well put, Nick, and we wanted to make sure that people understood that you are not the one doing the driving, somebody else is. You're the one that's kind of doing the smarts and doing the multitasking, if you will.
I need another arm to do everything I'm doing right now, quite honestly.
Yeah, I know what you mean. All right, Nick, also passing along spotter report, Mount Sterling we had a spotter report, 0.8 of an inch hail that came in at 9:26 in association with that storm as it moved overhead. So some very impressive hail reports as well that came in with that. So if you're just joining us, we're in continuous coverage here on KHQA as a result of a tornado warning that was issued by the National Weather Service Office. This out of Lincoln, Illinois, and also the National Weather Service Office out of St. Louis. The first warning that came out just about, I want to say 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, that came out of the National Weather Service Office out of St. Louis. That still continues for Brown County. That was to expire at 9:30. That has not expired as of yet. Tornado warning now in effect for Cass County and eastern Brown County. This goes until 9:45. Southern Brown and northeastern Pike, I believe. So that continues until 9:45. Not to get anybody all confused here. Can I help you out, Tegan? Do you need?
Yeah, I think Cass County is until 10:15.
Cass County is till 10:15. Okay.
Double check
so,
for me.
I'm trying to check here.
The Lincoln office.
Yeah. Well, we had. Do you need Lincoln office on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got ILX on that. There we go. 10:15 for Cass and Schuyler. I'm sorry. Okay. Now we got it all straightened out because we had a number of offices that cover different parts of our tri-state area, and sometimes when things get a little overlapped, it gets a little bit on the fuzzy side. So apologize for that. So 9:45 for that part of central Brown County. Then we got Cass and Schuyler till 10:15. So I hope we got it all kind of straightened out here. But this storm moving very, very quickly out of central Brown County, Versailles, Cooperstown, Bainbridge, Beardstown. You're on the southern edge of that, but wow, you've got quite a bit of wind. Just taking a look at some of those inflow notches that are showing up on the eastern flank of that particular thunderstorm. So again, you got tornado warnings that are in effect here for Brown and into Cass as we speak here. Eastern Adams County, your severe thunderstorm warning just about set to expire there, if not already. Got some pretty good rainfall. That's just on the western edge of Hannibal, southern and southeastern Marion County, just coming out of northeastern Monroe County, northern Rawls County. We got some pretty good rainfall that's coming out of there. But again, we've got numerous watches that are in effect, one of which has been canceled for southeastern Iowa. That tornado watch that was issued earlier this afternoon, it's been canceled for northeast Missouri, southeastern Iowa. The rest will expire at 10 o'clock. Others will be extended till 4 a.m. for counties along and south of I-72 and US 36. Nick, anything else for us, at least at this point?
Yeah, I think we're kind of getting a little bit ahead of this line. I think we're starting to see that wall cloud-like feature kind of on that leading edge of that Boeing segment, which is why that tornado warning is in effect. We are a good distance away. You can probably see it actually dead center of your screen. I'm trying to angle the camera up right above those lights on the horizon, those red flashing lights of their towers. That it looks like a wall cloud there moving moving in the direction of Beardstown. We're trying to get a better perspective on it. Doesn't appear to be anything on the ground. Doesn't appear to be a funnel at the moment, but definitely a wall cloud feature with this storm as it continues to move northeast into Cass County. Again, also southern Schuyler County, right toward Beardstown. So we don't want to focus too much just on the tornado threat. Obviously, the wind threat, as Rich was mentioning, very strong. We're looking at probably 60, 70 mile per hour winds at least with this storm. Definite wall cloud with this storm, though. We're getting a much better view as we get out ahead of the rain here.
Okay, very good. And again, as this continues to move off, I would say that, again, if you are in the path of this, you need to find yourself a certain safe haven, especially if you're in Cooperstown. If you think you've had the wind, you've got more wind that's going to be coming at you on the backside of this. Beardstown, Frederick, Bainbridge, I know it's pouring down rain. Rushville, the same thing. If you're upstream, Astoria, toward Summum, even if you're as far away as Duncan's Mills, you need to really kind of take note that you need to find yourself someplace to go other than just kind of grabbing a camera and trying to shoot video of this thing, because this thing really means business. This is an angry storm, folks, as it continues to make its way off to the east and northeast, as Nick said, at about 60 miles an hour. This thing could also put a tornado down on the ground very quickly and keep it on the ground for a long time. We've already had, Nick, unfortunately, 2 fatalities. One, Ottawa, Illinois. Police are still trying to assess the damage there. Illinois State Police are also aiding Ottawa City Police in trying to assess the situation there. There's a lot of power outages, a number of buildings destroyed, including a nursing home, unfortunately, in Ottawa, Illinois, that was damaged substantially by a tornado. Also in Perryville, Missouri, there was a fatality, a lot of damage there, but because of the darkness and because of the terrain, they're having a problem trying to get in and assess exactly what happened. But evidently a tornado did touch down there, but they're having problems getting word out as to how much damage was done and how much assistance is needed in the recovery effort there.
We're going to get a visual north here momentarily.
Right.
We're just crossing into Morgan County, or are we in Scott County? We're basically right on that border line on Interstate 72. We're now heading north. Looks like that tornado warning has been dropped for Brown County as that circulation continues to move off to the northeast. That wall cloud-like feature, I don't know if you're going to get a visual as we get past the bridge here. It's going to be towards the right side of your screen. Again, it's on that leading edge, a little bit of a notch on that bowing segment. So we have that strong wind threat, and then embedded in that bowing segment, we have kind of that circulation, and that's where this wall cloud is kind of featured with. As we make a right here, you should get a visual on it here momentarily. Again, this is almost right on top of Beardstown right now.
Okay.
Last check, we had a good view on it. We did not see any funnels with it, thankfully. It looked like just kind of a low-hanging wall cloud, and then with a shelf cloud to the left of that on the back side of the storm. So again, kind of a complex structure when you have these bowing segments and a little bit of circulation as well. So tornadoes, these quick little short-lived tornadoes, definitely possible as it continues to move into Cass County and southern Schuyler County. Also the strong wind threat as well.
All right, just to pass along here, and again, we've got that tornado warning that has been canceled for Brown County, still in effect for Cass, that until 10:15 tonight. But all other warnings have been canceled. The Storm Prediction Center has also canceled the tornado watch for Macon, Randolph, Adair, Schuyler in Missouri. They've also allowed it to expire for other portions of Missouri. That was in effect until 10 o'clock tonight.
Okay.
So that's good
grab
news.
That from you?
Sure.
Great.
All right. I think perhaps Did you need something from me?
Okay. I just saw you thinking rather intensely there.
Excuse me.
I was letting you, finish your thoughts.
Okay. I was wondering if I need to maybe recapitulate for the 10 p.m., but I don't know if that's okay. We've got 9:44. There is still continuing the tornado warning for this part. I'll go ahead and zoom this in on radar. This part of Cass County, and this is particularly for Beardstown. This also includes Virginia. Does not include Arnsville, but it does include Virginia, and just to the southwest of Chandlerville. This particular area is going to be brushed by this very intense thunderstorm that has a history of putting down some large hail, also has damaging wind, and also has had a history of creating some funnel clouds that have the potential of touching down. There are funnel clouds aloft. They are tornadoes when they touch the ground. So they issue tornado warnings. They don't issue funnel cloud warnings. So just to kind of let you know. They're in contact with some of those folks that are in some of that area, and it's kind of I want to say it is a very rural area. They're trying to get some spotter reports relayed out to see what is going on. But I do want to say this, that some of these let's say this. Some of these if I can get that and let me show you here. Some of these inflow notches, and I want to highlight some of these notches that you see in the front parts of these lines of thunderstorms. Usually means some pretty good inflow and fairly strong wind, or otherwise known as, sometimes it's referred to as the gust front. Pretty intense wind that's associated with that. Then you get the rain that starts to come in. So that is then followed by that very intense rainfall, and then perhaps maybe even some more rain. So that's when you see those jagged lines along the front of these big, long, linear type systems. So that's sometimes what you see with those little inflow notches. Sirens in Beardstown are activated. Yes, I'm quite aware of that. Yes, they have extended the tornado warning for Cass and Schuyler. They're still continuing the tornado warning for Cass and Schuyler. And I want to let our engineer know in TV control that basically that warning is a continuation of the tornado warning till 10:15, I believe. But the sirens in Beardstown have been activated, and yes, that is a result of that.
I hope that you are telling me that.
That tornado warning does continue until 10:15 for Cass and Schuyler.
Have a good night.
And I don't have anything new on that. They're trying to get some new information. They're trying to get a hold of some of the storm spotters that are available in that county area. But some of those storm spotters are saying they have nothing to report. So it's hard to get a horse to drink when you take him to the creek. It's as simple as that. We will have KHQA News coming up at 10 o'clock. We'll have an update with Nick Stewart. We will also have some other stories that we didn't have for you at 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Raja Maples is on top of things. Do you have any questions for me, or was there something else?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. All right. So, once again, you are getting some storm sirens that have been sounded in some communities, including Beardstown, in Cass and Schuyler counties in Illinois. That is because the tornado warning that was issued earlier this evening is still continuing till 10:15. More intense rainfall for Beardstown. And again, I'm leaving the radar just kind of as it is right now because the more intense rainfall has kind of crossed Beardstown Highway 100, also 125 and 67. Some of that heavier rainfall still extends to about Cooperstown. You're about on the far western edge, but still, Versailles, you're not quite out of the woods as of yet. And we are still kind of monitoring anything new that is coming in as far as any spotter information around the Schuyler and Cass County areas, especially around Foley, from Rushville to about Arnsville, Virginia, even Ashland, where you had a little bit of rainfall from earlier, but not much. So, but we haven't heard anything out of that. Nick Stewart, are you out of range?
I'm here, but the storm is pretty far off from us at the moment. We're just kind of looking off at it. Visually, it doesn't look as impressive as it did, but definitely the straight line wind threat is probably the biggest concern with that warning at the moment. But it's just kind of getting too far away, so we're going to kind of hold off for the moment.
Okay.
We're in northern Scott County at the moment.
Okay. All right. Very good. Really, it's kind of good to see that some of these watches have been kind of relaxed by the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center. A little unnerving when you have them extended till 4 a.m. for other parts of the region, especially in central and eastern portions of Illinois, where some folks are not going to be out of the woods. That may be a long night for some, especially those east of Interstate 55 and especially along Interstate 57, where this can be an extremely long night as these storms run into a very unstable atmosphere in that portion of the land of Lincoln. All right, let's bring you up to date with what is going on here. At about 10 minutes from 10 o'clock here, we are still monitoring a tornado warning that has been issued by the National Weather Service for Cass and Schuyler counties in Illinois. This is radar-based. This is the same storm system that gave a good chunk of far eastern Missouri kind of a scare with what was a funnel cloud aloft, as meteorologist Nick Stewart had detected earlier, just to the west of Hannibal, in association with the warning that came out earlier. That was from Hannibal, parts of Rawls County, that moved very quickly across the Mississippi into parts of northwestern Pike, then eventually into southern Adams County. That warning was then canceled. Then it moved in across parts of Brown County, and the warning was issued once more because of some firm confirmation on radar and some assurity that there was some rotation as well as some hail associated with that. That has maintained its strength as it made its way in across parts of Cass and also parts of Schuyler counties there as it transitions across the Illinois towards about Beardstown. So that's the situation where we are now. Looking at some pretty good shower and thunderstorm activity all the way from Havana to Beardstown to just to the west of Merodosha. Showers and some thunderstorms there from south of Ursa, extending to about Hannibal, just to the east of Hannibal in northeastern Rawls County. Monroe City, more rainfall for you, and that extends just to the north of Paris and extending right along Highway 24 to just south of Highway 24 to about Moberly and to about Clark, Missouri, Higbee, and then that extends to the southwest to about Fayette. The good news is, as we look far off to the west and to the northwest, we're not seeing a whole heck of a lot of redevelopment across parts of southwest Iowa or even northwestern Missouri, which is where we had the tornado watches earlier. Those have since been canceled. They've been extended till 4 a.m. for a good part of eastern Illinois, all the way into western Indiana, all the way down to the tip of Illinois, to parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. That's going to be a very long night for those folks there. We're looking at this last hurrah, if you will. That'll be clearing our neck of the woods probably by about midnight or so, or maybe shortly thereafter, as we continue to monitor this line of showers and thunderstorms as it progresses off to the east, with the individual discrete storms moving very, very swiftly off to the east and slightly to the northeast